I'll do it. Okay. Who can be the workman? Yesterday we discussed in an organization there may be a variety of people under different designations, the position or their salary structure may be different, and their terms and conditions of the work may be different. So there are some layers, right, in an employment. Can we call all those people are a workmen, or we need to define exactly the term who is a workman? That is a question under Industrial Dispute Act, because we said a dispute may be between a workman and workman, and a dispute may be between a workman and employer. So we must differentiate between a workman and employer. So in case if you define the word the workman, so I think you will understand. So you can differentiate between employer and the workman. Uh, because first of all, like we will discuss about the definition of section 2, yes, the workman, and after that we'll move at. Anybody want to read it for me?
Can I read it, sir?
Yeah, please.
Section 2S defines workman as any person, including an apprentice, employed in any industry to do any manual, unskilled, skilled, technical, operational, clerical, or supervisory work for hire or reward. Terms of employment be express or implied and includes any such person who has been dismissed, discharged, or retrenched in connection with or as a consequence of dispute.
Yeah. So section 2, yes, defines the workman as any person. He may be any person, including an apprentice. Who is an apprentice? Apprentice appointed. We have Apprenticeship Act of 1961, and the apprentice is appointed by the company for some training. So hope you know the meaning of an apprentice. Usually, the company used to hire the ITA graduates, diploma graduate as an apprentice. They'll undergo the training for 1 or 2 years, and just look at here. Imagine under the Industrial Dispute Act, even a person is appointed as an apprentice also included as a workman. What does it mean? It means so even he can raise an industrial dispute since he is a workman. Just imagine. Tomorrow, in case if there is an issue, even he can raise an industrial dispute before the court of law. That's what we must include even apprentice. Employed in any industry, he must be employed in any industry to do any manual work. I hope you can uh, 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 I mean, you know the meaning of a manual work. So all these like housekeeping or those who are doing like I mean a floor level floor level work. I mean, workers are we can say that those doing a manual work, and any like unskilled work like coolies and other people, and whoever does a skilled work, and whoever does technical work, and whoever does operational work, clerical work, supervisory work, whether he works for a hire or some other reward, and whether terms of the employment be express or implied. Express in the sense terms of employment or conditions of the work may be expressed either orally or in written format. Implied in the sense by looking at the work nature of the work, we can assume that certain work, I mean, which is implied in nature. And it also includes a person who has been dismissed. You just imagine the workman, the dismissed employee is also covered under this section 2s of Industrial Dispute Act, because see, Industrial Dispute Act says even dismissed, discharged and retrenched employee is also a workman, because even they can raise an industrial dispute. That is the reason in which they are included in a section 2S as a workman. So even those people can also, and I hope the difference between a dismissed employee, a retrenched employee, and the discharged employee. So dismissed maybe for some other purpose, as a disciplinary measure, he might have been like dismissed, and discharged employee, because of some other reason he might have discharged. I mean the termination or other things. And retrenched, we know that it is a because of the surplus labor, the employer might have retrenched employee. So those part we'll discuss in detail later. But for your understanding now, workman means any person who employed in an industry to do any manual work, any unskilled work, any skilled work, any technical work, any operational, clerical, supervisory work, etc., etc. And it also includes the dismissed, the discharged and retrenched the employees. So this is what the very I mean this particular definition doesn't give any clarity. How can we call certain people as a workman? Suppose, I think, like we can give an example of our own MIM. Can you name the designations of some of the people in Manipal Institute of Management? So at the head, so director is the head. So director. Okay, who else? Can we take a teaching staff? Teaching. And we have executive. I mean, a ma'am sitting in front of the director's cabin. And we have associates like Bhagyashree, or we have Divya. So all those people appointed as an associates. And we have attenders. We have a cleaner. Any other designation? Any other people working for Manipal Institute of Management? Maybe a lab assistant.
Security.
Security, good. Security. What about librarians? Again, chief librarians. Again, libraries. Just see, it's a very, a small organization. And in a small organization, we could find like different layers of the employment. I just imagine like big organizations like the Infosys or the TCS. Imagine the different types of employment. And in a small organization, the question comes whether with the like a previous background under what we discussed, section 2J. Can we say that Manipal Institute of Management is an industry? You must apply the Bangalore water supply case. So can we say that Manipal Institute of Management is an industry?
Yes, sir.
So one said yes. What about others?
Yes, sir.
So can we call it an industry? Can you put it in a conversation box? How many of you say an industry and it is not an industry? Just type. So Saurabh industry, Nishat industry. Okay. So what about others? Yes. Okay, it is an industry. Ken. What about others? Michelle industry. Atul, yes. I think we'll go with the majority. Yes, see, education. Beyond doubt, the educational, the institutions must be called as an industry. We know that one case Supreme Court said it is not an industry. However, the outcome of Bangalore water supply case, I mean, which has some influence on the education institutions as well. I mean, the educational institutions satisfies the three conditions laid down by the Supreme Court, and there is no doubt. I mean, even educational institutions is also an industry, and that's the case. Can we call all those people as a class, as a workmen? I mean, it includes everyone, director to the library assistant and attendants. Can we take a holistic approach and say all these people are workmen? Anybody? Or we should look at their designations. I mean, you can compare with the above, and you can tell me whether. Can we say that director is a workman?
I think he is, because he supervises the work.
Okay,
So,
he supervises the work, right? Okay.
yes.
He's employed. He's employed in the industries.
He's employed, and okay, we can call. Okay, what about teaching staff?
Yes, sir, because they have skilled work. They are skilled in whatever they teach. So that's
Okay.
why they are.
Okay, so teaching staff, and what about executives and other things? When teachers can be called as a workman, according to you, I don't think like I should ask a questions to these people. I mean, so all you want to call all these people as a workman, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll give one more example. In an IT, a person may be appointed as I mean, a software engineer, say a software engineer. A software engineer also there is a various designations like a senior or associate or something like, and we'll take as a whole the software engineer. A person is appointed as a software engineer, and we know that the software work is nothing but doing some like a data entry job. I mean, there will be all data entry job. And a engineer may also appointed as an researcher, right? A researcher. Or else some company used to say that he is a scientist. Scientist. Okay. Now, can we call all, we said in a previous discussion, like IT firms can be called as an industry. There is no doubt. Because the Industrial Dispute Act is applicable even to the IT industries. And no one can escape. Software engineers, those who are doing the repeated work or daily software work. So can we say that he is a workman?
Yes, sir.
Okay, software engineer, he is a workman. What about researcher appointed by the IT company? Same engineering graduate. Can we say that researcher is the workman?
Yes, I mean he's appointed
Okay.
by.
What about scientists?
No, sir. Maybe I don't think scientist is
What
a
is the
work.
ground? What is the ground?
It's not really an employment. Like, it's not an employment kind of thing. I don't know. And it doesn't sound like it is a work.
Okay.
I mean, not a workman.
Okay. The hospital, I'll take an example. Hospitals. Can we call hospital as an industry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Various designation we can find from, say, take an example of HR executive. HR executive. And say, for example, the doctors are very important. Doctors. Can you take an example of nursing staff? And even various other designations we can find, right? Maybe front office executives or floor level workers, housekeeping, technicians, etc., etc. A lot of people comes here. Hospital. What about HR executive? Can we say that HR executive is a workman?
I think no, sir.
No. What about doctors?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We must call doctor. Can we classify once again doctors under different heads? A senior doctor, say like surgeon, or doctors who there are some junior doctors who just follow the instructions of the seniors. Can we categorize something like?
Yes, sir.
Exactly, yes. And now we'll take an example of Manipal Institute of Management, as I said, Manipal Institute of Management, and we have categorized the people under different hats. And may I know what type of work the director is doing? Can you compare with the above work? So in this particular definition says that manual work, unskilled, skilled, technical, operational, supervisory work. May I know director falls under which?
So supervisory.
Okay, supervisory work. For your understanding, I
No,
think
sir.
like
No, sir. Sorry, I
no,
just
no, wait,
understood the
wait.
meaning
No, no,
of
I'll come to you. I'll come to you. Supervisory work. In a next slide, you'll come to know. Supervisor in this particular work, only supervisor who earns less than 10,000 only included under the definition of section 2. Yes, I mean any person, any supervisor. I mean, I'm talking about only supervisor, not other people. Any supervisor who is earning a more than 10,000 per mensum, I mean month, he must be excluded from the section 2. Yes, please keep it in mind. A supervisor, I'm not talking about any other people, I'm talking about a supervisor who is earning more than 10,000 must be excluded. What does it mean? It means who is earning, supervisor must be called as a workman only if he is earning less than 10,000 per month. So I hope we'll drop the word supervisor now. What about teaching staff? What type of work is doing? You said the teaching staff is a workman. And what type of job he's doing?
So they are skilled. They are skilled in their own field. In that context, I said they are.
Okay.
Workmen.
I think you people want to categorize teaching staff, these engineers, and so suppose doctors, they are doing some skilled work, and so that can we call they are the workmen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, very interestingly, court interfered here. Even like Supreme Court in one case interfered, and the Delhi High Court also interfered and said the question arose before a court whether scientist or researcher can be called as a workman. Court said yes, software engineer beyond doubt. Since they are doing just a data entry job, we can call software engineer as a workman. Suppose if an engineer graduate appointed as a researcher or a scientist, Delhi High Court questioned how can we categorize these people are doing a skilled work? This is what the question arose before the court. So suppose if they are doing a skilled work like a software engineer, of course we can categorize as a workman. But court wanted to differentiate the skilled and highly skilled. Very please take it down. Skilled and highly skilled. And court wanted to differentiate a skilled work and highly skilled work. And suppose if any work falls in a highly skilled work, so court observed that whether highly skilled work included in a definition of section 2, yes, court observed that no, such word we don't find in a section 2, yes. That's what Supreme Court said. I mean, even Supreme Court and Delhi High Court said, I mean, we must categorize the skilled work and highly skilled work. And these people, I mean, researcher, a scientist is not doing a skilled work. They are doing a highly skilled work. And Delhi High Court went further and said, what exactly the meaning of a highly skilled work? Court said, highly skilled work means some work which requires some imagination and creativity. Some mental inputs is required in order to do certain work. And it's not like a repetitive work like what the doctor is doing, like what the teachers is doing. And how can we say that a person who is doing a highly skilled work is a workman? And court categorized a highly skilled worker or who is doing a highly skilled work cannot be categorized as a workman. Now I hope you understood. I'll come to the decision of the court later. For my explanation, I hope you understood. Now only software engineer can be called as a workman. Researcher cannot be called. Scientist cannot be called as a workman because they are not doing a skilled work. They are doing a highly skilled work. And when it comes to the hospital, doctors, a number of times Supreme Court also said, doctors, I mean, I'm talking about a senior doctors, not doctor who does or follows the instructions of the seniors. The doctor who is a very senior, and so court said, so he is doing a highly skilled work and he is not a workman. And once again, in educational institutions also, court said a teaching staff and a director cannot be called as a workman because I mean, when it comes to the teachers, they are doing a highly skilled work. They are doing a highly skilled work. And the director, he is doing administrative work that I'll come to you later. So apart from this, director and teachers, all these people can be called as an industry. As you rightly said, these people falls under the above category: manual, skilled or unskilled, whatever, operational, technical. And software engineers, of course, we can put it under this section. And hospital, other staffs like nursing staff and front office executive and other staffs we can put it under the section 2S of the Industrial Dispute Act, and we can call them as a workman. So do you have any questions here? I think so in case if you have any confusion, I can clarify it. What exactly the observation of the court? What the court wanted to differentiate between skilled and
Highly skilled.
highly skilled.
Highly skilled.
See, there is no parameter to decide the highly skilled work. Unfortunately, the court had not laid down any the parameter. Court just said so certain work which requires imagination and creativity. That's what. So highly skilled work those are doing cannot be called as a workman. I think since they're not workmen, so they cannot claim for some of the benefits in the sense like say like retrenchment compensation they cannot claim, and they cannot go for a strike what it mentioned under Industrial Dispute Act, and so some other benefits they cannot enjoy. That's what it is very important to define the term the workman, because teachers, the question arises, can they raise an industrial dispute before a labor court under the Industrial Dispute Act? My answer is no, because he or she is not a workman. But can we restrict the rights of teachers? Absolutely no. I mean, they have like some other remedy, so they can approach any other civil court. So do you have any question? Is it confusing? Okay, so can you read it?
Workman does not include who is employed mainly in an managerial or administrative capacity.
This is what I said. Whoever does work under managerial and administrative capacity, and I think like HR executive falls here, and director in an above example what we discussed must be included here. So they are not a workman. Okay.
I think this clarifies certain doubts that we had.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Or who, being employed in a supervisory capacity, draws wages exceeding 10,000 rupees per mensan or per month.
Exactly. This is what I discussed. This like the amount, I mean the wages exceeding 10,000 is applicable only to the supervisory work. Okay, supervisory work. It is not applicable to other. In a above case, we discussed technical work, operational work, clerical work, and there is no wage limit. But when it comes to the supervisor work, supervisor who is earning less than 10,000 included as a workman in the above section, but who is drawing like more than 10,000 is not included. And I think like they want to, I think he is at par with the person who is doing like managerial work or administrative capacity, maybe. I mean, the amount is too less. It was 3,500 earlier, and they increased it to 6,000, and they just like a few years back they increased it to 10,000. I think like in the future, so they may they increase the salary limit or the cutoff. So any questions here?
No, sir.
It's clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Suppose you are appointed by the company as a HR. So can we call you are a workman?
No.
No. And see, when I look at this particular word, I mean, the managerial and an administrative capacity, so I have some concern because some organization, what they'll do, I mean, maybe like the mid-cap industries or a small organization, and they, I mean, they'll designate you as a manager. They'll designate you as a manager. And but this manager is doing nothing but a clerical work. I mean, his nature of work is clerical, but his designation is manager. Now, whether we should call a manager as a workman or not, what we should take, whether designation on record we should take, or the actual nature of work we need to take. What's your opinion?
Actual nature of the work.
Actual nature of the work we should take. Okay. What about others? So according to you, so he must be called as a workman, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about others? Ken?
So could you repeat that last part?
See, in an organization, a person may be appointed as a manager. I mean, as his designation is a manager, but he's doing nothing but a clerical work, clerical or any other technical work, any other work.
Okay.
We know that this particular part, which is included under section 2S. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, section 2S. So the workman, but his designation is a manager. On record, so yeah, designated as a manager. Now, whether we must call him as a workman or not, what we should take into consideration, whether actual designation or actual work.
Actual, I mean, his official status, which says depends on what he's.
What is?
Like depends on what he's doing, but he's actually a manager, but he's doing the clerical work, right?
Exactly.
So
can we call him as a workman?
I feel no.
Court said yes. We must call him as a workman because designation is not important, but the actual nature of work is important. The question may come, how can he prove? See, always whenever a court type, suppose like you appeared before the court, you filed a case against a management. Now, onus on the part of you to prove before the court of law that what exactly the nature of the work. But your designation may be different. Your designation may be a manager. But you need to prove before the court of law that, so what exactly the nature of work, what you were doing. So that you need to prove before the court. In case if you're able to prove, and the court may call you as a workman. So you are having some rights.
Okay. Got it. It's not defined by the status, but by what the work is, the nature of the work.
Exactly, the nature of work, what exactly work you're doing, that's important. So these are all cases, I mean, decided by the court. I'm not giving any explanation from my pocket. I cannot give. So all these like a court has decided. And that one more scenario I'll give. One more. I mean, now you just tell me the possibility. So these are all things is happening, in fact. In a other case, we discussed designation is a manager, but he was doing a clerical work. Now I'll give one more typical example. He is doing both the work. He is doing managerial work and he is doing a clerical work. In a other case, what happens? He was designated as a manager, but he was doing clerical work. I think like there is no doubt. We must look at the nature of work. Now, manager, he is designated as a manager, of course, and he's performing like this primary function, and he's also doing like secondary functions as well. What we should take into consideration? Whether we should take the primary function or whether we should take the secondary functions we need to take.
You're saying, sir, he's doing both.
He is doing both, correct. Multiple role. He is performing a multiple role.
Any priorities?
No. What type of priorities?
So we cannot consider him as a workman because he's somehow in the managerial post. Because a lot of people are doing clerical job, but still
right.
are
You are right.
managers.
Good. If this is the case, if a person performing a multiple role and his main role is or primary function is the managerial role, that is the case, we must put him as a manager and we cannot call this person is a workman. Its primary function is important, not the secondary function. So I think like this clarifies your doubts. In a previous example, he was designated as a manager, but he was doing the clerical work. And we must look at the nature of work, not a designation. And in this case, since he is doing a multiple role, and we must look at the primary work and for what purpose he was appointed and what exactly major work or primary functions he was doing. And that's important. It is not a secondary functions. So any questions? Okay. I'll take an attendance.